Has the senator, leadership of the Democratic Party, anyone reached out to you as they have been covering what's going on with this other illegal MS-13 member?
No, they haven't. They never reached out to me, even when after Kayla was murdered and we found out that it was a 16-year-old known MS-13 gang member. The Democratic Party never looked at her pictures. When I testified in Congress, they never looked at her photos or said her name, and they always say the same thing. Oh, the Republicans are using you as a political stunt, or I'm sorry for your condolences. That's all they had to offer. They did not offer any solutions on the ongoing problem.
All right, it's time to weave out the lies so we can get to the facts. Well, just when you thought the Democrats couldn't get any more disgraceful or out of touch with reality, this happens.
Well, I'm asking President Bukele to... Okay, I'm asking President Bukele, under his authority as president of El Salvador, to do the right thing and allow Mr. Abrego Garcia to walk out of a prison, a man who's charged with no crime, convicted of no crime, and who was illegally abducted from the United States.
Yeah. Hello? What? That was Democratic Senator Van Hollen, who just got done flying down to El Salvador to beg for the immediate release of a recently deported illegal immigrant, MS-13 cartel gang terrorist member. Yeah. You heard that right? Someone who is not even supposed to be in America. And here this guy is begging for him to be returned to a country he doesn't even belong to. Now, who could write a better script, am I right? While Americans back at home here in America are struggling with all types of issues, Democratic Senator Van Hollen is out here prioritizing the freedom of non-citizens, MS-13 gang cartel terrorist members, over the safety of American people. And then he has the audacity to say that this guy hasn't even committed any crimes. We'll just take a look at this.
Abrego Garcia is an illegal alien, MS-13 gang member, and foreign terrorist who was deported back to his home country. And when Kilmar Abrego Garcia was originally arrested, he was wearing a sweatshirt with rolls of money covering the ears, mouth, and eyes of presidents on various currency denominations. This is a known MS-13 gang symbol of hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. Abrego Garcia was also arrested with two other well-known members of the vicious MS-13 gang. And two separate judges found that Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13, and that finding has never been disputed. And just this morning, it was revealed through Maryland court documents that Abrego Garcia's wife petitioned for an order of protection against him for 2 instances of domestic violence in May of 2021. And here is the order right here. The court ordered that the respondent committed the following acts of abuse. Once in May of 2021, assault in any degree. And on May 4th of 2021, he punched and scratched his wife, ripped off her shirt, and grabbed and bruised her. This is from a court in Maryland. So not only are Democrats rushing to defend an illegal criminal foreign terrorist gang member, but also an apparent woman beater.
Wow. Just wow. This is who Democratic Senator Van Hollen, as well as the entire Democratic Party, is defending right now. An illegal immigrant deportee who is a member of one of the most violent cartel terrorist organizations in the world, and someone who has a documented record of abusing women. As if we didn't already know this, the Democrats are absolutely insane. Here's the truth. The Trump administration rightfully deported Kilmar Garcia as part of a broader crackdown on MS-13 and criminal illegal aliens. They took action to protect American communities, your communities, our communities, from violent people like him. And what does Senator Van Hollen do? He decides to run defense for a foreign illegal immigrant cartel gang member terrorist at the expense of real American victims, just like this one here.
Why are we not protecting the American citizens? It's just common sense. Why are we not protecting our children? And to have a senator from Maryland who didn't even acknowledge or barely acknowledge my daughter and the brutal death that she endured, leaving her 5 children without a mother and now a grandbaby without a grandmother, so that he can use my taxpayer money to fly to El Salvador to bring back someone that's not even an American citizen. Why does that person have more right than I do, or my daughter, or my grandchildren? I don't understand this. Thank you.
God bless that woman right there who lost her daughter at the hands of a violent El Salvador gang member, because she really represents the voice of the American people. While Democratic Senator Van Hollen is off playing international defense attorney for MS-13 gang members, families across the country have been burying their loved ones that have been taken from them as a consequence of the Democrats' reckless open border policies. And so, here's where we stand now. President Trump's America First policy is crystal clear. Our government's duty is to its citizens, not to random illegal immigrant gang member terrorists. That is why President Trump cut a $6 million deal with President Bukele of El Salvador to house these deported gang members and not to release them. And much to his credit, Bukele stood firm. He refused Van Hollen's pathetic plea to release this MS-13 gang member because, unlike the Democrats, Bukele actually understands what law and order actually means. Democratic Senator Van Hollen's entire trip wasn't just delusional, it was a slap in the face to every single American who's ever suffered because of illegal immigration. He's not fighting for the victims. He's not fighting for Americans. He's fighting on behalf of a man who was deported and kicked out of this country because he was a member of a violent cartel terrorist organization. Now take a look at this.
Okay, further on in the testimony, in her interview, she talks about how her young daughter died, how she suffered, how she fought for her life. Just like Laken Riley, for how long? 17 minutes she fought for her life. That young girl didn't want to die. So these congressmen and senators, how do these women die? Look how they fought for their lives. Do they have daughters? Do they have any care at all for American citizens that are victims of these crimes? But they're loud and screaming now about this MS-13 gang. I mean, where were they when we had 12 million illegal aliens coming across the border? Where were they when we had a 600% increase in sex trafficking? Where were they when we had 4,000 aliens dying making this journey under Joe Biden? Where were they with 250,000 Americans dying from fentanyl? It's just ridiculous. Every day I can't believe what I'm hearing. Yesterday, I hear about a case in Washington State. 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela kidnapped and tortured and tried to kill a woman, robbing her using a power drill, torturing her and drilling through her hand. Every day I sit at the White House and hear these cases of sanctuary cities not helping ICE remove public safety threats from their community.
Literally, every single thing that Tom Homan just said is absolutely correct. The truth is, Democrats only speak up about illegal immigration when they're trying to defend the illegal immigrants. They never stand up for the Americans who are victims of these crimes. So, you know what? Let's be honest here. What does it say about a sitting U.S. senator who uses your taxpayer dollars to fly down to El Salvador to try to reverse a deportation that protected the American people? It says one thing: Democrats are insane. Democrats are completely lost in the plot. Look, deporting this guy wasn't just the right move. It's the bare minimum. This guy never should have been in the country in the first place. As all of this is unfolding, keep in mind, the American people are watching. They're done staying silent while politicians fly around the globe on our dime to advocate for the rights of illegal immigrant, criminal cartel gang members. They're done with the Democrat obsession with lawlessness and open borders. They're done with leaders who seem more concerned about the well-being of foreign nationals than the safety of their own neighborhoods. Really, this entire fiasco isn't just about one Democratic senator and one illegal immigrant cartel gang member. The bigger picture is that all of this is symptomatic of a deeper, rotted out, progressive ideology. A progressive ideology that treats criminal foreigners better than it treats American citizens. One that views the America First agenda not as a goal to achieve, but as an obstacle to be undermined and subverted. But you know what? President Trump is back in the White House, and America is done with these deliberate globalist and anti-American progressive antics. In truth, the country has come together to unilaterally decide that now, finally, after 4 years of a failed installed Democratic presidential administration, it is time to put America first.
Don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you found it informative. Hell, even share it with your family and friends. And let's talk about it in the comments here on Facts Only.